Evening, everybody. Welcome to the Borough Council Workshop Regular Meeting for June 17th, 2026. And we'll begin first with our call to order.
President Gerard,
Here.
Vice President Byrne,
Here.
Councilmember Ferguson,
Here.
Councilmember Hop, here, Councilmember White, here, Mayor Gerard,
Here.
Junior Councilperson Shiana Nicola,
Here.
Junior Councilperson Thompson,
Here.
Borough Manager Snyder,
Here.
Borough Solicitor Harper.
Here.
All right, if you would all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And please remain standing for the invocation by our mayor.
Sorry.
Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight with grateful hearts, seeking your wisdom and guidance as we gather together. Bless our elected officials with discernment, integrity, and compassion as they serve our community. Grant all who are present, leaders and attendees alike, an open mind, a spirit of unity, and a commitment to justice and peace. May our words and actions honor you, and may your love guide us towards decisions that serve the common good. Amen.
All right. To begin with this evening, we have a special honor here for Giuseppe Shiano Nicola, our junior council person. I'm going to turn this over to the mayor.
Welcome, everybody. Glad you could be here. We have a special ceremony tonight to honor our junior council person, Giuseppe Shiana Nicola. He has completed his term as a junior council person. Well, what is a junior council person? It is just what it sounds like. It is a program that has been implemented by PSAB, Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs, to give our young students a chance to participate in government. So Giuseppe is ending his term. And let me tell you something about this young man. He has been a student government association cabinet member, a National Honor Society events coordinator. He's a sacristan and catechist at St. Maria Bray. He's president of the 4-H State Council and a member of the Farm Home and Youth Foundation of Montgomery County. The Diamond, he was awarded the Widener Leadership Award, the Diamond Clover Award, and was named Outstanding 4-H Member of Montgomery County. Now, last week, Pat graduated from North Penn High School. But prior to that, in May, I believe it was, he graduated with an associate's degree in liberal studies from Montgomery Community College. So that is quite an impressive resume by any standards. And he's only 18 years old. So now as our JCP, the junior council person has a project, and he has run a holiday food drop for the benefit of the food pantries, Emmanuel Church, as well as Hatfield Church of Brethren. He has worked with our planning, budget, and zoning committee on the revision of our CAT ordinance. He actively participates in our council and committee meetings, and he has even handled the live streaming at one of our meetings just our last meeting. So you can see that he is a truly incredible young man. Now, we have from PSAP, Mr. Tom Weigel, who is a immediate past president, who will be presenting an award to Pat. So if you want to come on up, turn it over to Tom.
All this freedom dropping. Thank you, Mary Ann. Involvement in local government for every generation is critical. The Junior Council Person program is a way to make that happen in boroughs throughout PA. And Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs is committed to its success. I'd like to recognize and thank the Hatfield Borough officials for their leadership and mentoring of these individuals. Through these efforts, students gain critical skills in advocacy, public engagement, decision-making, and team building. What's most important is that this program allows students to have a voice on issues in their communities. On behalf of PSAB Board of Directors, I'm honored to present the Distinguished Junior Councilperson Award to Giuseppe Ciano Piccola. Thank you for your service to the community.
Yours, Vinnie?
This way, get out of that light there. Right there. Never need to get there out here. Up here. And all to this. Thank you. Thanks.
So, we also have an award, a recognition award to give for his service to the borough. As I said, he's just an incredible young man, and I see nothing but wonderful future ahead for him. So this is for you. So ready for your name. Okay.
Yes. You don't have to stick around.
Thanks, Al.
Move it a little bit this year.
All right.
A little bit that.
Pat, congratulations. Glad you were with us. All right, item 1 on the agenda, the approval of the meeting agenda. I need a motion to approve the agenda of June 17th, 2026, the workshop regular meeting.
Make a motion?
Second?
I have a motion by Councilperson Burns, seconded by Councilperson Weiss. All those in favor? Item 2, an approval of the minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the May 6th, 2026 workshop and the May 20th, 2026 regular meeting.
Motion?
Second?
I have a motion by Councilperson Burns, seconded by Councilperson Weiss. All those in favor? All right. Item 3, public input. We have quite a few people here this evening who would like to speak. And what I would ask you to do is to please rise, state your name and address, and your reason for addressing the council. And considering the large audience that we have here, if you could please keep your remarks as brief as possible, we would appreciate it so everybody has a chance to speak. So if
Mr.
anybody-
Council President, could I remind the public that you will have a chance to speak during the hearings. So if you're here for either hearing, we have a hearing on the text amendment for zoning, and we have a hearing on a garage accessory. If you're here for those subjects, you probably want to hold your comments until those hearings so that we get you in the transcript, okay? But if you're here for something else, I'm sorry, but if you're here for something else, now it's public comment on things not on the agenda or not hearing on the agenda.
Anybody wants to come forward? Okay. All right, item 4, announcements.
Next Borough Council meeting is the July 15th workshop regular meeting at 7 p.m. in council chambers. The next planning commission meeting is scheduled for Monday, June 22nd at 6 p.m. in council chambers. The borough office will be closed Friday, July 3rd in observance of the July 4th holiday. And the Hatfield Police Department has a grand opening ceremony this Saturday, June 20th, starting at 4 p.m.
All right, thank you. All right, item 5, the public hearing for the core commercial text amendment application submitted by WB Homes Land Acquisitions LP at 41 North Market Street. This is ordinance number 561, amending the Hatfield Borough Code of Ordinances, Chapter 27, zoning, specifically Part 21, Core Commercial District, to permit townhomes by the right in the core of the commercial district under certain conditions. And I would like to now turn this over to our solicitor, who will give you all the details.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. First, I'm going to tell you what this is in case you've never done this before. This is what we call a quasi judicial proceeding. In other words, we run hearings on adoption of amendments to any ordinance, sort of like a court. So we'll be hearing from the applicant, and we will also take public comment and questions and things like that before the hearing is closed, and then a vote may be taken. But it's going to run like a hearing in court, and we have a court reporter who's already started transcribing. You can only have one person talk at a time. So it's important that we only have one person talking at a time, and if you're here to make public comment, you will be given that chance. So be patient, please. Okay. Now, before we start, I am going to mark certain things as exhibits. And I have them marked already, so it shouldn't take too long. B1 is a copy of the ordinance that Borough Council will be considering tonight, ordinance number 561. Extras in case we need them. B2 is proof of publication. Publication in the paper. Was there a legal ad that was run to let y'all know that tonight is the night of the hearing and what time it starts at 7 o'clock? So that's B2. Exhibit B3 for Borough is a copy of the text amendment application. And that was filed by WB Homes Land Acquisitions requesting a change to the ordinance. And that would be B3. B4 is an aerial photograph that I think was submitted by the applicant. That shows what piece of land we are talking about tonight, although the text amendment will apply to other pieces of land in the core commercial district of the correct size. B5 is the zoning map of the borough, and it has been, I'll say, annotated by the applicant to show that there are other pieces of land in the borough that would be allowed to do townhouses under certain circumstances. That's B5. Even these here, so the court reporter can get them later, okay? B6 is a colored map from WB Homes that basically shows their concept plan. Tonight's not land development or subdivision, but what they're showing is what they would propose to build on the site if the text amendment passes. Most of you know this, but the site is right next to the fire company. Okay, so B6 is a copy of this colored map. And if you want to talk about this, you can just call out the exhibit number and we can show it on the screen. B7 is an architectural rendering of the townhouses that WB Homes plans to build. So we're going to call that B7. And we can use it if we need it. B8 is a letter from the Montgomery County Planning Commission, which states in pertinent part Montgomery County Planning Commission generally supports the applicant's proposal, but then has identified some issues that they wanted Borough Council to be aware of with respect to dimensions. And I will say that the draft ordinance that we are reviewing tonight was revised before it was advertised for tonight with respect to some of the dimensional things that were pointed out. So. There, move that one. So those are the borough exhibits. No, they're not. I got a couple more. B9 is the planning commission meeting minutes that approved the text amendment, but suggested that council strongly look at parking in the area and the density of units when looking at the big issue. Okay, so that's B9 is the planning commission. Notice. Now, I do have letters from people who are here tonight, and I'm just going to have them marked and put them in. You can discuss them when you get up to talk if you want to talk. The first one, P1, public one, I'm thinking P1, is from Lawrence G. Stevens, and it urges Borough Council to reject the text amendment on the grounds of the historically significant building on that one. P2 is from Shirley and Glenn Snyder and members of the public, and that they state in part, we feel strongly some of the original borough landscape buildings must be preserved for their historical values. Then it goes on to talk about how important Snyder's was to the borough. That would be P2. P3 is from Jeffrey Grieser, and he is against the destruction of the building, I guess, and the proposed 15-unit townhouse development. That's P3. P4 is a letter from the Hatfield Museum and History Society, also signed by Larry Stevens, but it basically is on behalf of the society, talking about the importance of the George E. Snyder hardware store. And Borough Council has all these. They were in their packet, so they've read them all, okay? P5 is from David Kimmerly, a planner, AICP, and he's also writing about the ordinance and is making suggestions, okay, about other things you ought to look at in the borough. And that's it. So, sorry it's taken me so long to get there. I think it's okay with Borough Council. The next one to be recognized should be the applicant. Chris Canavan is here from WB Homes to talk about why they are applying for this. And Chris, if you can use the microphone, it will be easier for the court reporter to hear you. Thanks.
Thank you. Good evening, members of council, members of the public. My name is Chris Canavan. I've given my card and information to the court reporter. I'm the president of WB Homes, the home builder. I'm also president of WB Homes Land Acquisition LP, which is the applicant this evening. We
Hold
are
on for 1 second.
Yes.
Since we're doing it as a quasi judicial hearing, I'd like the court reporter to swear you in.
Raise your right hand, please, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. We, WB Homes Land Acquisition LP, is the equitable owner of the property at 41 North Market Street, which was identified on B4, the aerial, which gives us standing to make an application and request some amendment to the zoning ordinance. I think it is important to reiterate the purpose of this hearing this evening is to add a use to the core commercial zoning district. It's not to approve a land development. It's not to approve a plan that we had presented as a proof of concept, if you will. It is to add a use, a townhome use to your core commercial zoning district. The core commercial already has some residential uses allowed. Multifamily uses over commercial are allowed. By my calculation, there's approximately 26 apartments that could be built on this property with first floor retail below them. So this is not introducing residential somewhere where residential wasn't previously considered. It's just a different kind of residential. The other aspect of this, and we've worked very closely with the state of Howard Heckler, who is the one that is selling us the property, that they are very interested in selling. They put this out to multiple bidders, and their true inclination was also to honor something that Howard had been very dear to his heart. As many of you know, the property we're dealing with is a smaller portion of what was a larger property that was subdivided in 1998, and a portion of it was conveyed to the fire company where the firehouse is at this point. There is a need for additional parking for the fire company. The plan that we have proposed and the zoning text amendment would allow us to develop the property properly, in our opinion, provide, acquire it from the estate of Howard Heckler, and provide 20 parking spaces for the first responders at the fire company. And we would build that, and that would be granted to them via easement from our homeowners association as part of this project. And that's what the plan, as shown under exhibit B6, shows, which is shown on the board from right to left of the plan, would be the 3 sets of 5 townhome units for a total of 15, 28 parking spaces, and then the firehouse on its own property. 28, 20 of them for the firehouse, 8 of them are the overflow for the townhome, but would also be available as sort of flex spaces for both uses when it comes down to it. So when we were looking at how we could accomplish the goals from the estate and also come up with something we think is reasonable for the borough and support what is the legislative intent of the borough for the core commercial, which in part is to get a mix of retail, institutional, and residential uses. We know from other experiences in redeveloping properties in other adjacent boroughs and other areas, one of the things to a vibrant downtown is to also have owner-occupied residential units that are walkable to this. There is a core commercial you have with great businesses that these homes would then be walkable to, just as the neighbors across the street are walkable to them. And as we worked through this, we developed an ordinance that we thought was appropriate, provided appropriate architectural standards to mirror what is provided within the borough for architectural treatment, submitted it, went through the standard review process, received feedback from the Montgomery County Planning Commission, B8 as identified, which was a letter from April 23rd. They had feedback. The Hatfield Planning Commission had feedback. The borough engineer had feedback, and all of that amended what was our original draft ordinance into the format that was advertised and is here this evening, which has all of the feedback from the appropriate bodies to get us to where we are this evening, which is a request from us to amend your zoning ordinance to allow for this use. As noted on the annotated zoning map, which is B5, we did go to the exercise of looking at what other properties within the core commercial district could this potentially be utilized as, since there is a 1 acre minimum to introduce townhomes. So it can't go on any property in the core commercial. It would be with a 1 acre minimum. There would be, starting from the clockwise at the top, you have the property that we are talking about as equitable owners. There would be the combination of 1 or 2 parcels where the Grandview Health Building is. There's the property at 34 South Main Street, 64, which is half an acre. So they'd have to combine with others. So it's not really that, but it's large enough to consider. Lincoln Avenue, 64 East Lincoln Avenue, Poppy's Tavern does meet the acreage requirement. There is some floodplain and waterway on that. And then there is the property that's currently being developed as townhomes behind the post office that does fall in the core commercial and receive zoning relief to do what they're doing rather than through a text amendment. And it's our understanding that the draft comprehensive plan, as noted in the MCPC letter, would also recognize this as an appropriate use within your core commercial. So for the purposes of this evening, we are here just to ask for that townhome use with a variety of conditions that are listed in the ordinance, architectural standards, the bulk area dimensional requirements from zoning, that would be allowed. That would then allow us to go to the next step, which would be the land development process, where traffic, stormwater management, landscaping, buffering, pedestrian interconnectivity, utility connections would all be thoroughly vetted through that process. So that would be the end of my presentation at this point. Happy to answer any questions. or address any particular concerns that the council may have or public.
Before we get to the public, does council have any questions for, Mr. Canavan?
I have a question. Why did we consider amendment versus zoning relief? I don't remember the logic behind that.
I think I'll answer that, and then the solicitor would I know from our discussion, Borough was in the process of looking at its broader comprehensive plan amendment. And the thought process would be, if this is an appropriate use in the core commercial as one of the support things, doing it through a text amendment would be appropriate rather than site-specific relief, because the council then controls that rather than us just going to the zoning hearing board and asking for our own discrete relief. And it would give greater control over certain things like architectural standards and things like that to bring it into conformance with a broader planning objective that you're working through.
I think that's fair answer.
Yeah, and I'm remembering the details now, so
Yeah.
apologies for my lack.
Oh, no.
So.
I think that's always a good question. This could have very easily been similar to the post office discussion where it went just to the zoning hearing board as a specific application.
But to be fair, the one that got zoning hearing board relief had a number of other plans first, remember? We called
Yeah,
them.
be part of that. So, yeah.
Anybody else on council have questions? Right, Chris, if you could sit nearby in case
Happy
somebody
to.
in the public has a question that you're better able to answer than I can. So if you would like to speak, take your time, get up and go to the podium, okay? And we will,
First, state your full name and spell it for the record completely. Full name.
Lawrence Stevens,
I'm sorry, your first name?
Lawrence, Lwrence. Stevens, Stevens.
Thank you.
okay, you don't have to be sworn in if you're just giving public comment,
Great.
so.
Good evening. I know you have received my letters, but I thought for purposes of this hearing, I would read my comments into the record for the benefit of those in attendance as well as watching online.
Loudly and slowly, please.
Okay. During my many years here on Borough Council and the Hatfield Economic Revitalization Committee, we have tried to promote our borough businesses in an effort to make the town a destination spot and not just a drive-through town. We have also worked to encourage new businesses to come to Hatfield Borough, to give people more of a reason to stop and visit. Approving this plan would effectively displace 3 borough businesses, 2 which bring people into the borough. Also, the loss of any commercial space here in the borough, it seems to me, is counterproductive to the goal of building the borough's business community. I am also quite concerned about how this text amendment could have a negative effect in allowing by right the transforming of other commercial properties in the borough into townhouse communities. And of course, there's always the parking concern that comes with these townhouse communities as well, which you have seen even in very recently developed townhouse communities. I realize that the owners of this property want to sell the property, and they could certainly sell it faster and for more money to a townhouse developer. But that should not be a consideration for Borough Council. The priority should be to preserve this commercial property and other commercial properties in the borough, and to encourage businesses to make Hatfield Borough their home. Finally, of course, I'm personally concerned about the demolition of this building with its unique architectural character. But I will switch hats now and speak as president of the Hatfield Museum and History Society and on behalf of the board of directors and members of the society. We believe that tearing down this historic building and replacing it with a townhouse development would be counter to the desires of much of the Hatfield Borough community. The building was, as you know, the former home of the estate of George S. Snyder hardware store. It was built in 1939 and was for many years the store that the people of Hatfield and surrounding communities went to buy supplies for maintaining their homes in a time before Lowe's, Home Depot, and the internet. In addition to hardware, the store sold lumber to build Hatfield's home, coal to heat them, and feed for animals raised on Hatfield's farms. As you know, two different community surveys recently completed by Hatfield Borough residents, the Hatfield Borough Survey of 2024 and Montgomery County Planning Commission Survey of 2025, both showed that the people of the borough want to retain the historic character of the town. 89% of the 286 people responding to the 2024 survey indicated that this was a priority for them. And the 2025 county survey again showed that this rated high in importance for borough residents. The society certainly understands that not every old building in Hatfield can be preserved. But the historical character of this building, along with the fact that it is part of the borough's core commercial district with thriving businesses, seems to be reason enough for it to be preserved. Moving forward, we would encourage Borough Council, when considering any development plan for this property, as well as for any other property in the borough, to make a condition of that development the retention of buildings with historic character, or at least a facade. We would also encourage Borough Council to consider placing additional restrictions in its ordinance, including possibly establishing historic districts to make the demolition of the town's architectural character more difficult for developers. And the society would, of course, be willing to work with the borough to achieve that goal. So on behalf of myself and the society, we encourage you to reject this text amendment application that is before you. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Good evening, Deborah Stevens.
Sorry, first name.
Deborah,
Sorry, first name.
Devorah. Good evening. As an officer of the Hatfield Museum and History Society, I fully support everything that Larry stated. But I would like to address you tonight as a resident of the borough for over 50 years and share some concerns regarding changing the zoning for the core commercial district. Since the core commercial district zoning was enacted prior to any of you serving on Hatfield Borough Council, I'd like to share just a few items from section 27-2101, Statement of Intent for the borough's core commercial district. It reads in part, to strengthen the borough's core as a center of commercial activity, to encourage the reuse of older buildings as opposed to the conversion of the core commercial area into an auto-dependent, pedestrian unfriendly commercial strip, to promote a pedestrian-friendly environment, to discourage blight and overcrowding, to foster a sense of place and community. And then in the Borough Informer's spring/summer 2024 newsletter had a very nice article entitled, quote, "A Vision for a Vibrant Downtown," in which it states in part, the hiring of an economic development consultant for the borough with the undertaking of a 3-year plan aimed at revitalizing downtown Hatfield. Now, I'm not sure exactly what happened with that in Denver, but it's still a very important part of our town. And the article goes on to state the long-term goal is to create a vibrant, walkable downtown and engaging the community in the decision-making process, emphasizing the importance of aligning the goals of the community with the Borough Council's vision. Through surveys and town hall meetings, residents will actively contribute to shaping the future of Hatfield. This collaborative model extends to developers who share the community's vision, fostering relationships where everyone benefits. Goes on to state the emphasis on business retention and recruitment highlights a commitment to creating a thriving economic landscape for years to come. It also stated that the heart of Hatfield's approach lies in the delicate balance between preserving its historical heritage and embracing growth. This is achieved through the establishment of strong partnerships with successful local businesses, as well as a focus on the borough's future growth and advancement. And finally, it stated that Hatfield's journey is about cultivating a shared vision that embraces its rich history while embracing the possibilities that tomorrow holds. I have appreciated all that Hatfield Borough Council and staff, mayor have done to have our town hall meetings where we as the community are invited to share our thoughts, our concerns, and our future wishes for our beloved borough. And I also appreciated the Hatfield Borough Community Survey, and I wanted to highlight the top 2 results of that survey, which were revitalizing the downtown and bringing dining and retail options to the SEPTA station. And I'm very excited to welcome this business, and I will support this business. The community rated the current downtown as 2.7, and almost 90% would like the borough to encourage more retail, restaurants, and specialty stores in the downtown. Also, 89% of the residents who responded to the survey felt that it was important to retain the architectural character of the community. The building that would currently be affected by the zoning amendment discussed tonight currently has 3 active businesses operating within it. I believe it would not be in the best interest to remove business for housing when it does not align with the direction of the Hatfield Borough Council's past vision and the community's desires. And if this amendment is passed, it would not only affect this building, but could potentially affect future buildings and businesses, and let alone increase the danger to historical buildings. So as elected officials of the people of Hatfield Borough, I respectfully request that you vote no to the zoning amendment and continue the important endeavor to protect our current businesses in the borough and continue to look for ways to strengthen our downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to give some public comment? We do have somebody. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Bonita McCabe. Spell your first name? Bonita. McCabe, McCabe. We've lived in the borough for 31 wonderful years, and we have graduated. Our kids, we're raising them. It's great. I was around here when Snyder's was around, and loved it. What a great community. We had so much to offer. I'm respectfully asking the borough to reconsider plans that would result in the demolition of the historic Snyder Feed Store. While I understand the need for housing and redevelopment, this building is an important part of Hatfield's history, character. Once it's demolished, that history will not be replaced. I encourage the borough to explore alternatives that allow for redevelopment while preserving this landmark through adaptive reuse or incorporated into the project. Growth and preservation do not have to be mutually exclusive. Many communities have successfully balanced new development with the protection of historic buildings that help define their identity. So please consider working with residents, preservation groups, and the property owner to find a solution that respects both Hatfield's future and its past. Thank you.
Anybody else? Come on up.
Good evening. John H. Weierman, Weierman. And I'm going to start by saying I have a personal memory, and I won't say how long ago that was, but 60 plus years walking into the Snyder store on Market Street as a youngster, remembering the nail bins that surrounded the counter, and then walking up the ramp to, I guess, probably the office and contractor area or new purchase area, we'll call it. I don't see in the current use of the building with those multi-tenants how any of that still exists. And if Mr. Heckler was interested in preserving this, I think he would have done something about it. I'm also taken back, and I'm going to offer counterpoint. What is the architectural significance of this building? I understand character and preserving that, but I don't, going past there today and multiple times driving by, see no architectural benefit. So from a demolition standpoint, I don't think we're saving anything. You also have the warehouses in the back. Does anybody know what they're used for? Are they fire risk? I think this plan, not the plan, but the amendment being offered is something that when I served on council for years and we talked about the walkable downtown and supporting business, we didn't have any residents to walk around town to support those businesses. And that's why a number have closed. Some have tried to pursue and continue in business. But with bringing more population, I think that serves part of the problem. Also want to comment from the borough standpoint. When I served on council, I'll never forget a colleague making the comment, we're in the business of providing and selling electric. We sell other utilities. We collect real estate taxes, and this project would also contribute significant revenue, not revenue, I'm trying to think of the property tax, transfer tax is what I was trying to come up with. Sorry, I don't prepare notes. So bottom line, if I was sitting up here today and just with what the amendment is offering, and I don't think you have a better company that you could work with to make this project successful. If it's not used for this, what's it going to be used for? And I don't think the family's going to want to continue maintenance of the property. So something's going to happen down the road. And I think this might be the best option. So if I was sitting there today, my vote would be aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I'm Susan Gratz, SUSAN, Gratz, KRATZ.
So yeah. KRATZ.
TZ, yep.
Put the mic closer to you.
Pull the mic down a little bit. That's
Okay,
good.
better? I am saddened by the fact that we're going to possibly lose this historical building. As a child, I grew up on West Vine Street. Remember going to Snyder's with my parents. And I understand that maybe this isn't, going to be with us forever. But I'm not exactly thrilled about the plans I see in front of you guys for 15 townhomes with 28 parking spaces. Are you kidding me? 28 parking spaces in today's world is never going to be enough. You have multi-generations of people living in the same home with 2, 3, maybe 4 cars. Where are these people going to park? And I look at Wheatfield Circle and that development there, and I see that people have not enough parking spaces there. So they're parking down on Edgewood and walking up the embankment to get to their property. So again, where's this going to happen? How is this going to happen? So as much as I'd love to see the historical buildings remain, I understand that it may not be the best solution, but I really, really hope you take a long and hard look at WB Homes' plan. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna ask Chris Madden to respond to you, but I'm also gonna remind everybody, which I think that we're talking about the text amendment tonight and basically the townhome use. And if it passes, he'll have to come back with fully engineered plans. But I think the parking calculation is off a little bit.
Just for clarification, 28 parking spaces in the parking lot. 20 of them are for the firehouse, 8 are overflow. Every single one of the townhomes would have a 2-car driveway and at least a 1-car garage. So the 28 spots are not the only parking for the development. That's the overflow parking.
You're saying that each driveway is going to accommodate 2 cars?
2 cars in the driveway.
Didn't really appear that way.
It does. We've designed this and you can see this behind Country Bride and Country Gent over on Broad Street. We built a similar style townhome, and you can see the driveways and the garage configuration. But that is really the parking for the unit owners, and the other lot is really the overflow plus for the firehouse.
So just to clarify,
Yes, ma'am.
28 spaces dedicated to the townhouses, and then an additional 20 for the firehouse?
20 spaces for the
So hold on
firehouse.
1 second, because our court reporter has
I'm
a hard
sorry.
time getting somebody without a mic.
I apologize.
Could you repeat the question?
She was saying, just to clarify, 28 spaces for the townhomes and 20 spaces for the firehouse. Just be clear, it is a 28 space parking lot, 20 for the firehouse, 8 overflow for the community above and beyond what's in their driveway and garage.
Just maybe pull up the plan.
If you, thank you, that would be B, I forget which one.
I think we're looking at.
B6.
B6.
So if you can note on the plan, in front of each unit is the driveway, and then there's a garage with it. Those are all the spaces for the individual unit owners. And then these 2 rows of parking have 10 spaces each. And the row to the closest to the firehouse has another 8 on our property. They have additional parking on their property as well.
What's to the right of the townhomes?
To the right over here, that is the additional parking, lot that exists off, it's on the railroad property. And there's an existing, parking lot there that stays. That's not on our property, and we're not doing anything with it.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else have comment?
I did want to ask.
Can you come up or use the mic? I'm sorry.
How about if I stand?
All right,
Talk loud.
no, unless you can make your people.
Well, we'll tag team together,
All right.
or use the mic together.
Say your name again for the record, please.
My name is Bonita.
McCabe, MCCABE. Thank you.
So my question would be, we have 2 cars per driveway plus a garage. Is there any parking on the streets?
Not in that-
Excuse me, audience, nobody speak from the audience, please.
My understanding is no.
Great. And if you guys could use the mic.
Yeah. My voice tends to carry, but my understanding is no, the road would be wide enough for on-street parking, but, and there may be some ways to introduce it with safety on that, but that would be part of the land development application.
So my question would be, that people are going to have parties and there's going to be gathering, right? And where is that overflow going to go beyond the 10 parking spaces?
When we do parking calculations, at least our experience has been, not everybody has a party the same night. There is the overflow spaces that are there. Those spaces are only for guests. They are not for any of the tenants to park their spots, their cars in. And we've built probably the last 20 years, at least 50 townhome developments like this. And when we have parking calculations with at least 2 driveway spaces and then at least half an overflow space, there is enough space to encounter that. It's when we have less than that that we run into a problem.
There's a development in Hatfield.
Never matters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is really tough to park there. There's very little parking, right? And the residents have to kind of play to get people. So if you go to visit, there's no parking. You have to park.
They have 1 driveway space and then 1 garage space versus the 2 in front of their unit, which really blows out the parking calculation.
I don't know if 2 parking spots, a 2-car
It's-
driveway is going to
But
be.
it makes a huge difference because you're doubling the number of spaces, than what they have out there right now.
Okay, so a couple things. Parking on this plan does show 3 spaces per unit, the garage and 2 outside spaces, in addition to the spaces that they're going to let the fire company use, in addition to that. Okay, the other thing is to the right on this exhibit, you can see there's a parking lot. The borough is not developing that parking lot. That's right near the SEPTA train station, and the borough has control of it via a lease with SEPTA. So that parking lot would also be available. Just so you know, because I think Borough Council is very familiar with the fact that Heather Meadows was developed without enough parking. And this actually has more parking per unit than Heather Meadows. Okay, so.
And I would note that the parking lot, we are not in land development yet. We have not gotten into these discussions. That parking lot is immediately adjacent to the site that we are going to be developing, the one on the railroad property that is under the lease with the borough. We will be, basically having to grade right up to it. And I am quite sure when we go through the land development process, there will be some cooperative activity that we can do to help with circulation on that parking lot to make it better for both the uses they'll have and then potentially as overflow for everyone in the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, who else has a public comment? Thanks.
Tracy, Jerry, right? I'm fine.
FR.
ICK. My question is, Hatfield Fire Company, they run out the hall and everything. How's that gonna affect them with this? And also parking for that event, and also that's where our polling place is. So how will that affect elections with parking? Because that gets very crowded with our parking, because sometimes we can't park. And driving in and out, that's always a mess at election time, especially when it's a great big election. So how will this affect elections with our polling?
All right, so let's have Mr. Canavan answer that question, okay?
I think that was one of the primary concerns, both from the firehouse and the estate of Howard Heckler. Currently, there is called a gentleman's agreement. There is that they can park in the parking lot that's there with the other commercial uses. There's no designated spaces on this property right now for the firehouse. We are building and going to convey and deed restrict with an easement 20 additional spaces that are dedicated to the social hall, the firefighter, the use of that election day, et cetera, in that parking lot for that specific use. So it will improve the situation, in my opinion.
Have you been to an election where we have people wrapped around that whole building? There is no parking.
But there's no parking today.
No, we park around, we park down, we park all around that building. If those houses are all in there, that's our parking.
Well, you also have a sidewalk from the borough parking lot, as we discussed on the other end of the development, for people to use too.
And if it's raining, we're gonna have no turnout.
That happens with any election.
Yeah, but
All right, who else has a comment?
Yes. Dean Mininger, Mininger.
So first name,
Dean, Mininger, president of the Hatfield Volunteer Fire Department. So he is correct. We only own these spaces right here. We don't own anything else. That's been a gentleman's agreement since Howard was living, and we can just use that parking lot as will. So we had the right, just so you know, we had the right to buy this. We couldn't afford it. So we had to say, no, we couldn't do it. So, I mean, we can't afford it. We're a volunteer organization. So with this plan, this helps us out tremendously because we need to stay volunteer. We need to raise funds. If not, your tax is going to go way up. That's your next step. That's just the proof. Because sooner or later, we're going to come in and say, we're done. We can't support you no more. And it's not far from that. We are trying. We've run 300 calls this year already. It's only 96 months. So being this helps us a lot. And that's why we encourage it. Because we can still park. We can still rent our hall. It brings us money. We don't go after the borough council. We don't go after the township yet. It's coming. I'm just telling you, it's coming. And I don't know how soon. Because you'll be getting all notices. Hey, your taxes just went up because now you're supporting the paid fire department.
So Dean, you're saying you're in favor of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we need to stay volunteer. I need to bring money into this facility. Our gear is expensive, $6,000 to fit a gear. The trucks, over $1 million in cost in trucks. I'm just enlightening you. It's just the facts. We buy stuff to protect you guys. It's very expensive, very expensive. And when that happens, we go paid, police department and fire department. The budget's gonna be bigger for us than the police, trust me. So this helps us out tremendously. I'll be honest with you. So thank you.
Anybody else?
My name is Jess Brownlee, BROWFLE,
wait, BROW.
and like Brownlee. I've been a resident for Hatfield for over 20 years, ran for Borough Council one time. This, in my opinion, I live right on Market Street. This is a public safety disaster waiting to happen. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 outlets onto the road now, where there used to be only 2 and then a third one down at the train station. When the fire department responds, a lot of times, if Market is jammed, what they have to do is go around the back to get there, to get in to get to the trucks. If Market Street is jammed, this situation, now you're adding minutes to response time. And this is gonna be about 39 cars. I know we're talking, they have garages. How many of you actually park your car in the garage? The garage is where the kayaks are, the bicycles are, the stuff that you haven't donated in God knows how long. It's too many units. Maybe half of it located along the back, leave the openings for the fire department. Right now, it's a disaster. I don't think Market Street can handle the infrastructure either. It's been God knows how long since it's been worked on. The center of Market Street is higher than the sidewalks. Market Street, actually, if you're gonna put this much in there, it needs to be taken right down to the bone again and redone to support it. So this, as it is right now, for me, it's definitely a no-go. The other thing is, before the connector put in, it was kind of dangerous to back out of my driveway. With this here now, it's gonna be impossible to back out of my driveway. I'm going to have to redo my backyard into a complete turnaround, so I have to pull out. And so will all the other people that are there. So I can't, and while the street is improved or anything like this.
Right, thank you. Just for clarification, Market belongs to PennDOT. We'd have to ask them to do some work on it.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
with that, they put the connector in. We need to talk to them to say, okay, we've paid our dues over the years and let you run this. We need that redone. And lastly, have we looked at this to the state to get funding to acquire this property? Are there grants that will allow us to do that? Because we do have the train stations there. I know it's a pipe dream that would ever get the train back there, but there has been some talk. So,
Right, the Borough Council did look at, when the fire company said they couldn't afford to buy it, they did have a right of first refusal. The Borough Council did look at it, but it was expensive and not sure what they would do about it. I don't want to speak for Borough Council, but they did look at that. And then this option appeared. So that's why we're considering this option.
okay, I think we need to keep writing letters to the state.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Yeah, keep it short. You're a
Deborah Stevens. I just want to kind of reiterate in a little bit what I said, and just for Borough Council, the core commercial district allows for a building to replace this building if necessary, if necessary, but with commercial properties on the first floor with housing on the second floor. And in my opinion, that's a really good workable solution for the borough, for the community, for what the residents had expressed. And I'm assuming that we're talking about this plan like it's a planning development, like we're talking about this exact development, but this is an amendment that will affect all future parcels, an acre or more. And I just want to encourage Borough Council to really consider why we had a core commercial district and the importance of having businesses. And I'm assuming that what's in the core commercial district zoning wasn't enjoyable to the developers because they could get more money for condos or housing. And I understand that, but I just want to encourage Borough Council before you move on, just to remember why this was enacted and the importance of bringing commercial businesses to our community and also supporting the businesses that we currently have. just to kick them out, that they don't care, I think is really sad. So I just wanted to make that clarification.
Thank you very much, Deb. If everyone's finished, I want to give the applicant the last word, but you have, go ahead. It's not the last word yet. When we get to the last word, I will let the applicants respond.
I don't have prepared remarks, but I'm a talker. I'm Eleanor Ziegler Rook. My first name is Eleanor. Ziegler, Ziegler, and Rook, Ruch. In 1938, I was born at 76 West Vine Street. I guess I was here 1 year before the Snyder store was built. Is that right? 1939, was that? You're good. I think so. I lived all but 10 of my years in Hatfield. 3 of them in the township, the rest of the time. I lived between the greenhouses, Diddon's greenhouses and the train tracks now. And much of my life I lived there. When I went and talked about this, my daughter wondered how this met with this slogan, Experience Hatfield. That's on the water tower, right? I don't know. Anybody see that? Anybody ever read that? Experience Hatfield. Okay. I'm a regular person at the BDM Good Cafe, and I have enjoyed their food. I've enjoyed the interaction with the people, and it is frankly a little surprising to me how many people come from Hardersville and Lansdale and Percy, and they're coming to Hatfield to eat, which is a good thing, we think. So one of the purposes of commercial district is to bring people to us. I think some of that is being met. So I just wanted to voice that to you. I wonder if there's any alternative use of some of that property that could combine what's presently there and something done with some of the rest of the property. And I'm certainly not qualified to address that, but just wanted to bring my perspective here.
Thank you. Last one? We got another last. I think you're last, but you're not. We got one more. We have one more speaker. Go ahead.
My name is Denise Lopez, DENISSE LOPEZ.
Speaking to the mic, please now.
Good evening, everybody. I'm nervous to be up here. My name is Denise. I am the D of the BDM Good Cafe. I am currently a sophomore in college. I work at the BDM Good Cafe location and have a personal connection to this building, which has been part of our community for many years. I understand that growth and development is important, but this building is more than just a structure. It is a piece of our town's history. As one of the historic buildings in our community, it represents the character, heritage, and stories of the generations who came before us. Every day, people come here to share meals, celebrate milestones, and create memories. Rather than ending that history, I hope that we can continue adding to it for future generations to come. Working here has allowed me to get to know so many members of our community. I've enjoyed building those relationships and being part of something that brings people together. As a young person who hopes to stay involved in this community, I would love the opportunity to continue to make memories and helping this business remain in a place where other people can make memories as well. Historic buildings cannot be replaced once they are gone. New construction can always be built, but the history, character, and sense of the place that this building provides are irreplaceable. Preserving it allows us not to only honor the past, but to continue creating memories for the future. I respectfully ask you to consider the historical significance of this building and the impact its loss would have on the people who care about it. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Again, get the last word. And before we see if council has any questions or comments to make before we close the hearing, so.
Thank you, Ms. Harper. Thank you to all the residents who spoke. I appreciate the nature of the comments and the words that were said. I think council has before them a set of competing public interests. We have a project that I think does fit in with the core commercial. I believe for many of the comments that were made, you can interpret the legislative intent in a lot of different ways. If you want to support your core commercial district, you can add more commercial space, or you can add more people to support the other commercial space. And that's like one of those competing interests that you have to look at, and what will have a better impact depending on where it's located within that core commercial district. You have a firehouse that has had a gentleman's agreement for parking that, isn't, cemented yet. We have a way to cement that, and we're committed to working with the fire company on that. And that's another public interest. Historical preservation is, the fire company is, there's a lot of things in a 1.25 acre tract can only serve so many masters when it comes down to it. We think we've come up with an appropriate text amendment to propose to you for an appropriate use that's already allowed within the core commercial, meaning residential, just in a different form. And I would just note that if it were left to just the uses that were here, you might be looking at a similar project as what was proposed beyond the post office, which is a 4-story building with apartments above and commercial below. And that might not be the right answer either. So I think this gives a variety of options. And yes, there are a number of planning initiatives that were brought up this evening related to traffic, related to flow of people through the site, that as we go through land development, if this is a successful zoning ordinance, we will be going through in great detail, doing traffic studies, working with PennDOT on traffic entrances to address those concerns. And thank you for your consideration. Happy to answer any questions.
Does any member of council have a question for Mr. Canavan or anybody else? Yes. All right, then what we're going to do is close the hearing. I started out by saying that this was a quasi judicial proceeding because it's like the court. However, when it comes to amending an ordinance, that's a legislative act. So Borough Council tonight has heard the testimony, but now has to make a decision legislatively whether they are in favor of this proposed text amendment or not. But we'll close the hearing. And don't leave, okay? But we'll close the hearing for now, okay? Mr. President, I give it back to you.
All right, thank you. All right, first of all, thank you all for your input. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look now. Now that the public hearing is over, about voting on the ordinance number 561. Amending Hatfield Borough Code of Ordinances, Chapter 27 zoning, specifically Part 21 Core Commercial District to permit townhomes by right in the Core Commercial District under certain conditions. So do we have a motion for acceptance?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion from Councilperson Ferguson. Seconded by Councilperson Weiss. All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, was it? Oh, okay, wrong one. Councilperson Hawk. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, it carries. All right. I'd like to thank you all for coming out this evening and for giving us your opinions, and we will now proceed on with the next item number 6. The conditional use hearing for Michael Drop of 332 Edgewood Drive for an oversized garage.
Is he here?
Yes.
Okay, can you come up to the front, please? Wait a second, if we wait, Mr. President. If anybody doesn't want to stay for the rest of the meeting for the hearings, now's a good time to go.
So we're meeting about fees.
There's no your application.
Oh, yeah. I said, I definitely report about my friend goes back. No, wait, was it called again? You know, MCPC, just see that company was, and it was, plans on the. Plans for the development.
I didn't talk much.
We were there, so.
What else did you eat? You have, I gave you one of those.
I have my diagram here, but then I need to do something.
I think I know what's behind.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
are we ready?
we're ready. We are now looking at the item 6, conditional use hearing for Michael Drop of 332 Edgewood Drive for an oversized garage.
Okay, Mr. Drop?
Yes.
All right, why don't you, let's do it this way. Come on up and be sworn in. And, I'm gonna mark exhibits like I did at the last hearing. Were you here?
Yes, sir.
So you see how we handle it.
Sure,
Okay.
yeah.
You get yourself sworn in first, okay?
Say your full name for the record, please, spell it.
Michael Drop, Michael Drop.
Thank you. So raise your hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony that given this marriage, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna mark some exhibits. You should recognize that we could put them up on the screen, you know, when the time comes. A1 is a copy of Mr. Drop's conditional use application. He is requesting a private garage to store and maintain personal vehicles, but the garage is bigger than permitted. It's 1,500 square feet where 700 is allowed, and it is taller than permitted. Let me see if I can figure this out. Hold on. It's, thanks, 19 feet in height where 15 is allowed by the ordinance. Okay, so A1 is a copy of the application. A2 is a construction work application, a building permit application filed in January, which was later rejected, but that gives you more details on what he's proposing here. A3 looks like a schematic of what the garage might look like. Do you have that? Looks like this, Katie. There you go. All right. A3 is, I think that is a schematic. It's not an actual photograph, correct?
It's just it's a AI generated photograph.
Okay. So we're gonna call that a schematic, A3. A4 is also a schematic of the rear of the parcel, I think.
Correct.
And it would be your position that that's what you propose to build here.
Yes.
All right. A5 is an interior shot, and I'm not exactly sure what this is. Could you explain what that is?
Yes, this is the attic portion. For where I'll be storing some items that I, again, AI generated. Actually took a picture of all the stuff I have in the house right now. Threw it in there and told AI to organize it. And it did. It did a good job.
Well, I wish they would organize my garage.
Actually, it's pretty good. And so that's a picture looking at one end of the attic. And at the other end of the attic, some racks where I hope to store some automotive equipment on some of the cars that I hope to be working on in the 4-car garage.
All right. A6 looks like steps.
That's correct.
What is that? Can you describe that?
Steps that go to the attic. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not, again, they're not to scale or anything either. If you zoomed in on those, they look actually pretty dangerous.
All right. B1 is a memo from Ryan Giotto, our code and zoning enforcement officer, and he basically points out the applicant's proposing 1,500 square foot garage, which exceeds the 700 square foot limit. And the applicant is proposing 19 feet in height, which exceeds the 15 feet limit, which is exactly why you're here. If you had proposed a building that conformed to the zoning, you would have been able to get the building permit for it, okay? B2 is dated April 1st, 2026, and this is Ryan's rejection of your permit that we had marked earlier. It's, yeah, there it is. Okay, you recognize that?
I do.
All right. And B3 is a copy of the legal advertisement for tonight, saying that we gave public notice of the hearing. So those are all the exhibits I have. And since you're the applicant, it's your job to explain to Borough Council what you would like to do and why, and to answer their questions. You've already been sworn in, so you're giving testimony under oath. Okay?
Yep.
Go ahead and tell them what you want to do.
Okay, good evening, council.
Excuse me, sir.
Sure thing. Yep.
Put the mic-
Go. I'm proposing this garage to take the place of the old garage that used to be there. This is a residence that I was born in. I'm a Hatfield resident. Parents bought the house in 1964. I was born in 1968. My father used the old garage, which was 25 foot by about 45 feet big. He used it to work on cars. Matter of fact, he used to, if you think about the mid 60s, the Hatfield racetrack was still at play. He would work on cars at the house there, drive up Tomlinson Avenue to the Hatfield racetrack and race his car, and then drive it home and work on it for the next race. Growing up with my father, we would work in the garage all the time. And it was old, even when I was younger, it was old. Come to find out later on, actually improperly built too. When we tore it down, we found out the add-on section in the back didn't even have any footers in it, which is why the cement actually was sinking into the ground and having some trouble with that. It was, we really only ever got 2 cars in there at once. We could probably fit 3 if we put 2 back to back on the one side. Always have to drive on the long side of the garage, not along the, so there's a driveway that goes back to the garage from the house. And we would always have to go on the long side of the garage to bring the cars in. Personally, always thought it'd be a great idea to bring the cars right in off of the alley, right into that a 2-car garage or 4-car garage. And that's sort of what I wanted to do with the plan that I put up there. The never really always that sort of like what they're talking about tonight. Nobody really uses their garage for a car anymore. And we had a lot of stuff in the garage as well. So I really wanted a place to put items so they wouldn't be in the garage, which is why I asked to have a taller than acceptable roof with a higher pitch, something I could stand in. I think it's going to be about 6.5 feet now, so I can walk in the attic and take items up into the attic. So they're not in the garage, and I can actually park my 4 cars there. I would hope to put my personal car, my wife's car, one garage. I have a 1950 Ford that my dad left me before he passed that I'm working on. And my dream car has always been a 1969 Mustang, which I have pictures of when I was 18 years old, because I did own one there. And stupidly enough, before I joined the Navy, gave it away. 30 years after being in the Navy, I'm coming home and I'm ready to get it again. So that's the proposal. I know it's a little bit, it's the original garage, again, was just a little over 1,000 square feet. So that was over 700 to begin with. And I just wanted something a little bigger, certainly deeper, so I could bring the cars in. The existing structure, if we would have, and I looked at that too, to see if we could make a 4-car garage with the cars coming in straight. It just would have been too narrow to bring the cars in, which is why I lengthened it about 5 feet from 25 to 30 feet wide. And to get a nice, comfortable 4-car garage, I extended it from about 45 feet to 50 feet. These are the designs that I just, I had some friends that were experienced builders and are helping me with some of the subcontracting work to put in correct footers this time, which I know will get inspected anyway. So, but it'll be the right way this time. And so to keep it short, that's really everything I got to say. So, but happy to be back in Hatfield. I left for the Navy when I was 18 years old.
came back and forth because my parents stayed here, but now I got retired from the Navy, got a job right out here on Unionville Pike, working with the Navy as a civilian, and I'm back home. So I'm looking forward to getting ready to retire, work on some cars in my 4-car garage.
Okay, couple questions.
Sure.
You live in the house in the front,
Yes.
right? All right. Is there a kitchen or a bathroom or other utilities in the proposed garage?
No.
Okay, and you don't intend to have anyone living there?
No.
Okay, and is what you are storing in the garage all things that are, residential accessory items? I know you talked about the cars, but, anything else, stuff that you own, or you and your wife own, or you and your family own?
No, the one picture you've seen with the multicolored boxes.
Yeah.
They're items that are in the house right now, from stuff that still kind of going through some stuff with my parents, mom passing away about 4 years ago, and still having to go through all their stuff, and a lot of my stuff from the Navy, and they're all just in boxes everywhere, and other storage items that winter stuff. The house that I live in right now really doesn't have an attic to store anything, so that would be a good place to store items that wouldn't necessarily care whether it was cold or hot. No temperature sensitive items. So yes, the other than car parts, I would like to throw some things in there from the house that are storage items to cycle through Christmas decorations and stuff like that.
Or residential accessory items?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
You can have electricity, you might need that for working on cars.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yep.
Fine, those are all the questions I have from a zoning perspective.
I do have one question on in the attic. Are you going to be insulating that for any reason?
I think we talked about that. Yeah, I think so. I think we'll insulate it. Maybe not right away, but insulation's on the future.
How does the size of this building you're proposing compare to other buildings in that area?
It's Edgewood Drive. There are just houses there. I would say, there are some 2-story houses that would be compatible to it, but and right behind us is where they built they actually came up tonight, the Heather, that's the development. Yeah, that's my backyard, which used to be a big cornfield, Mr. Olabach's cornfield. And now there are townhouses back there. It would definitely be not higher than that. So.
Have you talked to your neighbors about anybody right around you?
The next door neighbors, I don't talk a whole lot, but across the street, I've talked to my neighbor, longtime neighbor, and they all.
Everybody's okay with that?
Yeah. It's actually nice when you come around Talmenson and turn on Edgewood Drive.
Yeah.
It was sort of an eyesore,
Right.
a tin roof.
Yeah.
Multicolored, green colored old garage.
Yeah.
And the pictures that I had AI build up, that's exactly what I'd like. And I think that's a nice little,
Nice looking.
nice image to, pull around and see something like that.
Is there any neighbors here?
No, there's no.
Okay.
Here, yeah.
Is there anybody here who would like to make public comment?
I have some questions.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that.
First of all, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you.
And also, are you going to just be working solely on your own cars, or are you looking to work on other cars in there as well?
Only my own cars.
Just your own, okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And then I have a question, Madam Manager, what was the size of the oversized garage we approved on Vine Street? Remember that?
Yeah,
Was it similar in size to this, or was it small?
I thought it was 22 feet high.
yeah, I was gonna say, I believe it was over 20
It was
feet
over.
high,
Yeah.
because it was more of a almost full 2-story garage,
Right.
yes. And it was, I wanna say maybe similar in depth, but instead of being square, it was more rectangle, but they did have almost a full second story. I think maybe 8 or 9 foot ceilings. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember 22 now. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't see that.
Sit back a little.
Got it. Okay. That's probably, I didn't see it.
And then would it be worth, one of the things we talked before about is the use of these additional structures. Would it be something we'd want to put in writing to say that it can't be used for anything other, any residential, any.
That's actually why I asked the question about kitchens and bathrooms.
Right.
If he was proposing a kitchen, and some people do like to work on their cars and eat or drink while they're working on their cars, I would have suggested some sort of a restriction. but he didn't ask for that. So if you grant conditional use, you're only granting it for a residential accessory garage. Okay, so that's the only permission that you get. If you install a tenant in there, you're in violation, have to come back.
Or a kitchen or anything.
Or a kitchen,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
It's possible to have a kitchen and not have a dwelling unit, but the kitchen often indicates a dwelling unit. So,
What about if you do put a bathroom in there, just a bathroom?
that might be all right, but that's another indication that the zoning officer should check and make sure it's nobody's living there. And that's because we have different rules, as you heard, about dwelling unit, more dwelling units.
Yeah. Our concern is about having somebody living in a building that's not been approved for human habitation. That's why we asked that question.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, if there's nobody in the public who wants to make a comment, we can close the hearing, Mr. President, and move on. All right.
So maybe we'll vote on this later.
Yeah, we're gonna be voting on this if you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. All right, item 7, reports from standing committees and mayor, and we'll begin with budget, finance, and labor. We met earlier this evening, and we are now beginning the process, looking at our budget for 2027, starting more ahead of time because of various things, that we need to address early on. We have some preliminary figures that we've gotten recently from the local police department. We are beginning to use those items to begin to formulate our budget for 2027. And we'll be continuing, for the next few months to get it finalized and come presentation in December of this year. The planning, building, and zoning committee report.
Yes, so Planning, Building and Zoning Committee, we will be meeting on the second Tuesday of the month going forward. Meetings will be from 11:30 to 12:30 here at the borough offices. We met on Tuesday, June the 9th, and reviewed and discussed the proposed changes to the current borough cat ordinance. And we've sent these to our attorney for final review, and we'll be presenting these to the full borough council, and to vote on advertising in July and vote, advertising July and vote on it in August. We also discussed the creation of a shade tree commission committee. We are looking for volunteers and anyone who has any experience in this field desiring to be on the team. Reach out to any of us or contact the borough office, give them your name. This is going to help us with our project to get the borough recognized as a Tree City designee from the Arbor Foundation. We also discussed the lawn and snow removal ordinances. This past winter saw a rather large number of walks and pathways not being shoveled at all or just way after the event. This is a huge safety issue and a violation of borough ordinances. And with the return of warmer weather now, we are seeing a rise in high grasses and unkept yards. When you drive around the borough, it's starting to look a little shabby. So we're getting calls from neighbors, which you can understand that on this. So we're looking at the ordinances and we're going to strengthen those a little bit to make sure that this is getting done. Number one, it's a safety issue. Number two, it looks really bad. So more on that as we come along. That's all for us for that committee for now.
Okay, thank you. The Public Safety Committee report.
We have not met recently, so I'm not here to report.
All right, thank you. Public Works and Property and Equipment Committee report.
Yes, Mr. President, we have a motion for our heritage volunteer And we have like three options, but currently we are considering which will be the best for our community in the long term. And still we are working on it.
All right, Utilities Committee report.
Utilities Committee hasn't met, but just as planning did, we did set up a regular scheduled time for the third week of the month to have our regular scheduled meetings. This month, we will not have one because I will be on vacation in Disney, which my eldest daughter is loving. But hopefully the next committee or next meeting will have a report.
Thank you. The Hatfield Economic Revitalization Outreach Committee report, we have not met recently, but I did want to say a big thank you to everybody for the work that was done for the past Founder's Day that we had just recently. It was quite a success. The weather was very cooperative, and it seemed like from what I saw and from what I've heard, everybody really enjoyed themselves. So thanks to everybody who was there and helped out. And the Mayor, Mary Ann Gerard report.
Both Councilmember Gerard and I attended to the North Penn Water Authority annual meeting. And the theme for the evening was planning for the future. And what they have planned is a extension or a expansion of the Forest Park water treatment facility. They did a study and they said if everything stays the same by 2050, they would not have a large enough capacity to supply water. So they are going to be expanding that facility. Now, while we were there, we sat at the table with John Hartzell, who is the Director of Operations, and he has volunteered to run a tour for us. So if anybody is interested in touring the facility, the plant, just let me know and I will get in touch with him. He seemed very receptive to, running a tour for us. So let me know. I also attended the North Montgomery County Recycling Commission meeting on May 21st. What we discussed there was basically the grants. Now the 2024 904 application was filed in December of 2025, and the size of the grant is $307,666. One of the things we discussed is, and I've reported on this before, about the length of time it's taking them to process the grants. For instance, we received a check for the 2023 grant year just in May. It was for 2023 and it's 2026. So we're having the problem. The DEP is changing the methodology. After we submit reports, they're changing the methodology. So we will put together a letter to be sent to our elected officials from the commission, signed by our solicitor, saying that listing all the factual data that has been collected by our consultants, saying that this needs to be addressed. So I will let you know when that letter is sent. And I believe it will be copied to all the municipalities that participate in the commission. Okay, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. All right, item 8, reports and correspondence, the monthly investment report.
The cash accounts report through April and the monthly investment report was included in your packets. Just highlighting year-to-date total disbursements of $34,130 into our Harleysville account with a total fee of $5,580. As we've mentioned to past meetings, Budget Finance and Labor is looking at investment options, and we'll have something to share with the rest of the board shortly.
Okay. The monthly EIT and LST report.
Monthly EIT report through May for this year. $292,008 compared to 2025, $281,366. So came out a little bit ahead in May from where we were last year. Looks like June is also a good month for us, so we should be looking good.
The monthly year-to-date report.
So the monthly year-to-date report is included in your packets. As you can see, revenues versus expenses. 31% of revenues received, about 32% of expenses. I know that April, we had taxes come in, so discount was done at the end of April, so we did get our real estate taxes in, so that helped our revenues. As we talked about last month, we had a very steep HGMA first quarter bill, about 50,000 higher than we normally have. We are looking into that. So that was attributed for some of the higher expenses in April.
Okay. The monthly zoning hearing board applications.
Received today was a zoning hearing board application for 200 North Main Street. That is the Biblical Seminary or the Longschlager property. They are requesting to going back to zoning for a 1-year extension on what they previously had. Ryan received that application and sent it over to the zoning hearing board solicitor and asked them to copy us and our solicitor on any correspondence moving forward to schedule the meeting.
Right. And then, like every other zoning application, if Borough Council wants to, they can take a position for or against, or you can just stay silent, let the zoning board deal with it.
Are they making any new revisions to the zoning?
So in the application, it looks like they were just asking for a 1-year extension. There was talk that they wanted to address the storm pipe that was in the previous zoning application, as that has been reviewed and didn't seem to be necessary. But that was on the application group not listed, so I'm not sure if that will be brought up. Their attorney and the zoning hearing board attorney are speaking about that.
All right, thank you. The Hatfield 250 committee report.
Yes, so a couple of things coming up. The big one is something called the American Revolution Experience. It's going to be here from June 22nd to July 4th. It's a American Battlefield Trust traveling exhibit. There's a lot of stuff that's traveling around. I believe this is the only place it's going to be in Montgomery County. So if you want to see it, you need to go there. It's going to be at the Township Administration Building. Like I said, June 22nd to July 4th. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. to 4:30. Saturday, June 27th from 10 a.m. to 3. And Saturday, July 4th from 1 to 4. There's a lot of interactive displays, engaging storytelling, family-friendly history. There's a lot of stuff for kids to do. So, if you have kids, or if you have neighbors that have kids or whatever, it might be a great history thing for them. So try to get out and see that. On June 29th at the Hatfield Township Building at 6:30 p.m. There'll be another in our speaker series, Dr. David Young. He's going to be talking about the American Revolution experience and those kind of things. I've been to a couple of these events, the speaker series. They're actually very good. These people really know their stuff. So if you have a chance. July 4th is the pool party from 11 to 1. There's a lot of stuff going on over there. They're going to have the foam thing like we had at the Founders Day. Whole bunch of stuff going on at the pool, and a lot of stuff for kids. A lot of handouts and giveaways and stuff like that. July 8th is Proclamation Day. You're going to, if you're outside, hopefully you're going to hear this. There's going to be a ringing of bells, 13 bells, and it's going to be at 6:30, Larry? 6:30. So around 6:30, go outside, see if you can hear this. A lot of places, a lot of people are going to ring them like they did back in 1776. they rang the bells, okay? And then there's going to be some things after July 4th, throughout the rest of the year. One that's pretty far out, but, I'll remind you later, is September 10th. There's going to be a presentation of the Lenape Indian tribes that were in this area. Barbara Blue Jay Mikowski is going to give a talk about her tribe. So that should be pretty interesting. I don't know what time yet. We just have the date. And then there's a couple of other events that we're looking at doing that aren't finalized yet. Possible tea type thing and different things. So we'll have more as they get closer.
Thank you. All right, the Montgomery County Planning Commission Steering Committee report.
The committee is not going to meet in June, but they are going to meet in July and hoping to have a draft comprehensive plan to review that after the review, we will send it along to council.
Police Department report.
Lieutenant Graham was here earlier this evening, but had to leave. His report is included in your packets. If you have any questions, let me know and I can have them respond.
Okay. Fire Department report.
Actually, it's slower month this month.
Good.
Only 44 calls, but we're already over 30 for this month.
Because they can catch it up.
Keep busy.
Yeah. All right, keep up the good work. The EMS report.
EMS report was included in your packets. Out of 1,034 calls for the month of April, 11 of them were in Hatfield Borough. And also included is their 2025 annual report. So if you have any questions, let me know and I can reach out to Chief Wheeler.
Public Works Department report.
Public Works Director was unable to make it to the meeting this evening. His report is included in your packets, along with a highlight of the outage report that we had on May 3rd.
The engineering report.
Chad's report was included in your packets. Nothing changed from last month to highlight.
Zoning Officer, Building Code and Property Maintenance report.
Ryan's report is included in your packets, just noting 12 notice of violations were sent out in the month of May for meter repairs, high grash, and rubbish.
The Fire Marshal and Fire Safety Inspection report.
There is no report included in your packets.
Okay.
Do you know how things are going with inspections on that? Have you seen anything?
Oh, I can ask him for an update, but he is out
Yeah.
very frequently.
I
Like,
figured he was.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
He did communicate that he does appreciate being in the office more and having more time to be able to talk to residents and get more inspections done and not jumping back and forth. So he's glad that he's here. Basically, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. He's just not here Friday. He's been here almost every Wednesday as well. That was kind of like we'll be in town as needed, but there's been such demand for rental inspections, fire inspections, and like we're in the summer, people want to build, they want to get pools and sheds. So he's been in on Wednesdays as well.
Great.
All right, Pool Advisory report.
There's no report included in your packet.
All right, and Junior Council Person report.
I was able to go to the MCPC open house with Future Hatfield, and it was quite pleasant. So I have to report.
Okay, thank you. And the manager's report.
My report is included in your packets. I'm trying something new. Let me know if you like it. I highlight or bold all the new stuff because it's the same report every month. And then I just add stuff at the bottom. So I thought that was just easier for everybody to be like, hey, this is new. So you don't have to read the same 10 lines for 200 North Main to get to the bottom. So you'll know that for 43 Roosevelt, they were issued a temporary UNO. 200 North Main, they, like I said, scheduling zoning hearing board. They are working on submitting land development plans. They'd like to go to planning commission. They're not going to make the June meeting, but starting in July. Some 2025 project updates, the Monco 2040 grant, where I have to submit a progress report by the end of June. The PMEA Annual Conference is September 9th through the 11th, 2026. If anyone's interested in attending, let me know, and I'd be happy to register you. And items of interest, the police department grand opening is this coming weekend, going to be awesome event. You can go to the police station for food trucks, band, bounce house, phone party. The Hatfield Museum History Society is also going to be open, so you can stop down there for a tour. So a lot going on. Take note of the signs right from Vine Street to our villa. Cowpath will be closed. You'll still have access to the giant shopping center, but just note that it's going to be closed. And then we're going to cap off the night with fireworks at the police station at 8:30. So it's going to be a great event. And last, I just wanted to highlight, you all should have received an email from me today. It's like a workable shared calendar. Katie and I are working through that. We would be happy to upload it to your tablets, phones, whatever works for you. I know when it gets sent over, it kind of gets jumbled a little bit, and so we'd be happy to stay after a meeting night or come to the office and upload it. When other committee meetings, events, office closings occur, we will add those to the shared calendar. Just note that all of your committee meetings and everything is going to be on that shared calendar. So like if utilities is meeting and you're on planning, building and zoning, don't show up to the utilities meeting because then we would violate the sunshine law. So like you will get a reminder because you're going to get your packet still for the meeting, but you're not going to get meeting invitations anymore like directly for the meetings because they'll double up on your calendar. So it's a work in progress. If anything you guys think need, just trying to be a little bit more organized and transparent, and everybody knows when everybody's meeting and can connect, kind of thing.
Hatfield Walk. Are they?
Oh, they have, I might have skipped over that, but I did not highlight it myself, so I skipped over it. They were issued a temporary UNO for units 1 through 4.
Okay.
So they had a sewer test that passed only units 1 through 4. So they can occupy them, and I believe they had somebody move in the first weekend in June to one of the units.
I thought so.
Yes.
Unit, the one on the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I walked over to Founder's Day, I walked through there.
Oh,
And I
okay.
was like, somebody's in there. You know? Okay, good.
And we did check with the solicitor, because it's not a permanent pavement. It's only, like, they still have to put the top coat on, and the borough didn't want to be liable for, so we had reached out to her to ask her if we could issue a temporary even though.
Right, and you can.
Yeah.
If the place is livable.
Yeah.
Good.
So, Madam Manager, how did we get past the fireworks ordinance for the township? For the opening?
That would be a great question for the township solicitor.
Because the police are gonna be there.
Yeah.
We can't arrest all of them.
Okay. All right, item 10, new business or discussion items.
There are no new business or discussion items that I have this evening.
All right, item 11, old business.
I do not have any old business discussion items this evening.
All right. Item 12, action items. We've already done the ordinance 561. So we have a motion to consider a conditional application for Michael Drop at 332 Edgewood Drive for an oversized garage.
Make a motion. Oh, I'm sorry.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilperson Ferguson, seconded by Councilperson Weiss. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approved. All right, item 14, a motion to adjourn, and do we have an executive session this evening?
Bills.
Here's the bill.
Oh, motion to approve, sorry. Always skip one thing every
The
week.
lights won't turn on. Shut the power off.
Need a motion to approve and pay the bills.
Motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilperson Burns, seconded by Councilperson Hawk. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Now do we have a motion to adjourn and have an executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Done and done.
we are adjourned. Thank you.